Hello, dear audience. Let's talk about the time Oregon tried to get rid of a whale by blowing it to Kingdom Come. Because apparently land mammals were feeling a little too confident that day. So, back in November 1970, a dead sperm whale washed up on the beach. And in case you've never had the pleasure of standing next to a multi-ton pile of decomposing marine life, yeah, it's not great. And this is not just a small whale that you can easily put back into the sea, hoping it will drift away to become someone else their problem. No, this is a whale with all its rotting blubber that weighs around 8 tons. Just so some of you old cat ladies out there really get a grasp of how heavy this is, 8 tons is comparable to 1,500 cats. Exactly. Haha, did you hear that, Mr. Snuggles? This young man uses you as a unit of measurement. How original!
Meow.
Oh my, Mr. Snuggles.
Now bring me some canned tuna, woman. Now, most sane people would think, hey, let's bury it. But no. Oregon's Highway Division, because apparently this was their problem, decided that the best way to handle this was to pack it full of half a ton of dynamite and just yeet it into oblivion. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we need to discuss this dead whale problem. Now, Michael here says that he has a solution. Michael, the floor is yours. Aye, aye, sir. So, we have the dead whale, right? What if we just use a ton of explosives to blow the whale up? And then the explosion would obliterate the whale, resulting in a clean beach, yeah? So what do you think? Yeah or nah? You had me at explosions. Most of you might think this is already a dumb idea. So why did others agree with this solution, you wonder? Well, let's be honest. If someone asked you whether you would like to solve something the boring way, like burying the whale, or instead doing it the cool way, that has never been done before, then I believe most of us would say that we want to do it the cool way, which then naturally leads to exploding whales. Besides, it's hard to argue such simple logic. If we blow up the whale, the carcass will end up in thousands of tiny leftover pieces, delicious whale pieces, that scavengers like seagulls and crabs will then happily clean up. It is November 12th, 1970. The day has finally arrived. A crowd gathered to witness history, an event that would go down as either a genius solution or a catastrophic failure. Alright, Michael, it's time to say farewell. Fire in the hole. The dynamite went off, and for a few glorious seconds, it looked like everything was going according to plan. But then, well, turns out Will isn't as flammable as they thought. Instead of turning into seagull food, it turned into a 3,000-pound aerial meat shower. So, I want you to imagine the movie It's Raining Meatballs. Except instead of delicious food falling down from the sky, it was actually disgusting, rotting whale meat. Massive chunks of blubber, some the size of a refrigerator, went flying through the air like some kind of ungodly meat meteor shower. One 200-pound chunk fell out of the sky and totaled a guy's car. The worst part? Most of the whale was still there. Well, shit. Someone has to take responsibility for this disaster. And as your boss, it sure isn't going to be me. So I'm afraid you're fired, Michael Bay. Huh? I think I'm going to become a director. So, not everything went according to plan. But surely the scavengers would take care of all the whale leftovers. Yeah. No, apparently not. Even the seagulls were nowhere to be seen after the explosion, and they did not return. You know that once these flying rats become picky eaters, you really screwed up their meal. Shockingly, Oregon never tried these shenanigans again. Instead, they do the boring thing now and just bury the whales. But let's be honest, nothing will ever top the time they turned a simple beach cleanup into a Michael Bay disaster scene. Anyway, that's the story of how Oregon took the phrase blow it out of proportion way too literally. Thanks for watching, and remember, never trust a government agency with high explosives. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time.